Your courage doesn't matter to physics. Physics only cares about heat transfer. Remember, if you're in a cold climate, you won't have weeks to die of hunger. You only have a few hours. Now I want you to imagine this. Your body is at 37 degrees. Outside, it's -10. The time is exactly 14:23, and you were just walking. Now you're shivering. You can't control the shaking. Most people see hypothermia as simply freezing to death in the cold. Simple, clean, understandable. But the truth is far more complex and measurable. Hypothermia is a full mathematics problem. There are measurable thresholds and precise survival time windows. Your body is designed to operate at 37 degrees. Enzymes work at this temperature. Cells produce energy at this temperature. The brain thinks at this temperature. When your body temperature drops below 35 degrees, hypothermia begins. At 32 degrees, your consciousness is at risk. At 28 degrees, your heart can stop. And every one of these transitions is predictable if you understand the math. This video explains the 5 deadly stages of hypothermia, the numbers, the time frames, and the survival strategies. I'm telling you this because I've seen people make fatal mistakes at these thresholds. The mathematics of heat loss. Body heat is lost through 4 mechanisms, and each has its own math. On paper, it looks like a calculation, but in the cold, no one can do these calculations with a calm mind. Conduction. Heat loss through direct contact. Water absorbs heat 25 times faster than air. In 10-degree water, you have only 15 to 30 minutes to reach the critical stages of hypothermia. At the same air temperature, you have hours. Convection heat loss through moving air or water. Wind increases heat loss exponentially. At 0 degrees, with 50 kilometers per hour wind, the perceived temperature drops to -15. The thin protective layer of air around your body is stripped away, and heat loss accelerates. Radiation heat emitted from the body's surface. The head can lose 40 to 45% of the body's heat. A hat can reduce that loss by up to 50%. Evaporation, through sweating and breathing. Every gram of sweat takes 0.58 calories of heat from the body. Wet clothing increases heat loss 5-fold compared to dry clothing. This is not just theory. This is a survival calculation. If you can estimate the exact rate of heat loss, you can estimate how much time you have. Stage 1. Mild hypothermia, 35 to 32 degrees Celsius. Your body temperature drops to 35 degrees. Mild hypothermia begins, and the body activates its first line of defense, shivering. Shivering is rapid muscle contraction, 10 to 20 contractions per minute. These contractions produce heat, and the body can increase its metabolic rate by 2 to 5 times. But this comes with an enormous energy cost. At maximum shivering, the body burns 250 to 400 calories per hour. The problem is that most people's total glycogen stores are only 1,600 to 2,000 calories. When that store is depleted, your ability to generate heat collapses. The symptoms in this stage are obvious: uncontrollable shivering, numb fingers, mild loss of coordination, rapid breathing. But cognitive function is still intact, and decision-making still works. Survival window, hours. If you can dry out, stay protected from the wind, and keep moving, it matters. Up to this point, it's still reversible. Stage 2, moderate hypothermia, 32 to 28 degrees Celsius. Your body temperature drops to 32 degrees. Shivering stops. The body can no longer produce enough heat, and the brain begins to shut down. At this point, the problem isn't the cold. The problem is that your brain can no longer make correct decisions. Blood flow is restricted to the arms and legs to protect the core organs. Hands and feet may freeze, but the heart and brain are still alive. Shivering stops completely. Coordination collapses. Walking becomes almost impossible. Speech slows and breaks down. Decision-making, problem-solving, and memory all become compromised. And the most dangerous symptom, paradoxical undressing. This behavior isn't irrational. It's the brain sending the wrong signal. When body temperature drops below 32 degrees, some hypothermia victims begin to remove their clothes. The hypothalamus, the body's thermostat, malfunctions. Your brain tells you you're overheating. You take off your clothes, and you die quickly. Survival window, minutes to hours. At this point, self-rescue becomes nearly impossible. External intervention is required. Warm drinks, dry clothes, a warm shelter. Outcomes in this stage can vary depending on the person and the conditions, but the risk is now beyond the range of control. Stages 3 to 5. Severe hypothermia, 28 degrees Celsius and below. Your body temperature drops to 28 degrees. Severe hypothermia, and you are now on the edge of death. At 28 degrees, heart rate and blood pressure collapse. Heart rhythms become unstable. Even a slight jolt can be enough to stop the heart. Consciousness is lost. Breathing becomes extremely slow. A pulse is almost undetectable. To an observer, you look dead, but the cells are still alive. Below 20 degrees, survival is extraordinarily rare, but not impossible. Medical records document victims who survived down to 13.7 degrees. Cold protection strategies. The mathematics of hypothermia is clear. Survival strategies are too. This information is for educational purposes. In a real emergency, professional help is essential. Here are concrete, actionable examples to protect yourself from the cold. Wet clothing management. Wet clothing can lose up to 90% of its insulation. You're walking in a snowstorm. Snow gets inside your glove, soaking it. Stop immediately and take the gloves off. Put your hands inside your jacket, press them into your armpits. Wearing wet gloves is worse than wearing no gloves at all. While hiking, dress in 3 layers. Inner layer, synthetic or wool thermal. Mid-layer, fleece or a wool sweater. It traps air pockets and provides insulation. Outer layer, a waterproof, windproof jacket. About 15 minutes after you start moving, you begin to warm up. If you feel yourself sweating, stop. Remove the mid-layer. Continue with just the inner and outer layers. Don't sweat. Sweat soaks your clothes and creates a lethal risk at night in the cold. Shelter and wind protection. You're out in the open at -10 degrees. A 50 kilometers per hour wind is blowing. The perceived temperature is -25. You start shivering. What do? Option 1. Move behind rocks. They cut the wind. The effective temperature instantly rises to -10. A 15-degree difference. Life-saving. Option 2. Use your backpack. Turn your back to the wind and hold the pack behind you. The back of your body is protected. That's your largest surface area. Crouch down. Make yourself smaller. Reduce your surface area. Option 3. An emergency snow trench shelter. Dig into the snow. A depth of 60 to 80 centimeters is enough. Get inside. Snow blocks the wind. There is no wind inside. Your body heat is trapped. The temperature rises by 10 to 15 degrees. The 1996 Everest disaster. Climbers lost in the storm. Some stayed exposed and died. Some got into snow trenches, and they survived. Same storm, same temperature. The difference was wind protection. The difference between life and death. Calories and energy management. If you're walking in cold weather, your body burns 100 to 150 calories per hour. If you're shivering, add another 250 to 400 calories per hour. Total, 350 to 550 calories per hour. An 8-hour hike equals 2,800 to 4,400 calories burned. If you can't replace those calories, your body will start consuming reserves. When reserves run out, glycogen stores are depleted within 4 to 8 hours, and heat production collapses. Then comes hypothermia. To prevent this, you should take a food break every 2 hours. Eat high-fat foods, nuts, peanut butter, chocolate, cheese. Fat provides 9 calories per gram. 100 grams of nuts equals 600 calories. Fast, efficient, compact. A warm drink, tea, coffee, hot chocolate. The warmth doesn't heat the body directly, but the effect is psychological, and psychology matters. Morale mobilizes the body. Hands and feet management, preventing frostbite. Hands and feet freeze first. The body sacrifices the extremities to protect the core organs. To reduce the risk, hand strategy. If your gloves aren't enough, put your hands into your armpits. This is one of the warmest areas of the body. In 5 to 10 minutes, your hands warm up. Then put your gloves back on and keep walking. If your hands start freezing again, back into the armpits again. Make it a cycle. Foot strategy. If your toes go numb while walking, stop. Take off your boots. Check your socks. If they're wet, change them. Rub your feet with your hands to stimulate circulation. Then put your boots back on, but lace them loosely. Tight boots restrict blood flow and accelerate freezing. When camping at night, put your socks inside your sleeping bag. They'll dry with your body heat. In the morning, you'll put on dry socks. If you sleep in wet socks, your feet will be cold in the morning. You'll suffer all day. Emergency warming techniques. The signs of hypothermia have started. Shivering is uncontrollable. Movements are slowing. Speech is impaired. What do? Option 1. Do physical activity, but carefully. Light exercise produces heat. Jog in place, swing your arms, move your body. But don't overdo it. If you make yourself sweat, it's worse. Option 2. Add an insulation layer. A blanket, a sleeping bag, an emergency heat blanket, whatever you have. Stop your body heat from escaping. Add a windproof layer. Option 3. A hot water bottle. Heat water. Over a fire, a stove, whatever you have. Pour it into a bottle. Place it on your chest, abdomen, and groin, major artery areas. Heat warms the core, and circulation carries that warmed blood through the body. Option 4. 2-person heat sharing. In an emergency, 2 people in one sleeping bag share body heat. One is hypothermic, the other is healthy. The healthy person transfers heat. This method has saved lives. It has been proven in rescue operations in the eastern Himalayas. Early warning recognition and rapid response shivering begins. Light, then intense. That's the first warning. Act immediately. Put on more layers. Find wind protection. Eat high-calorie food. Move. Speed up circulation. Numbness in the hands begins. Second warning. Emergency action. If you have wet gloves, take them off. Warm your hands, armpits, hot water, movement. Put on spare gloves. Speech begins to break down. Thoughts slow down. Red alarm. Moderate hypothermia threshold. Your ability to self-rescue is now dropping. Build shelter immediately. Apply every warming method. If possible, call for help. Hypothermia is not a mysterious killer. It is a predictable, measurable, and avoidable process. The math is simple. When the rate of heat loss exceeds the rate of heat production, your body shuts down. At 35 degrees, you shiver. At 32 degrees, you lose the ability to think clearly. At 28 degrees, your heart can stop. Every threshold is known. Every time window can be calculated. Most people don't die from hypothermia. They die because they don't understand the math. They stay wet. They ignore the shivering. They mismanage their layers. They don't look for wind protection. They don't calculate their calories. And they don't know when to retreat. But now you know. You know the numbers, the stages, and the survival strategies. And when the cold finds you, the math will tell you what to do. Stay dry. Manage your layers. Protect yourself from the wind. Burn calories. Protect your hands. Act fast when shivering starts. And never, ever ignore the math. Because the cold doesn't forgive. But at least it's honest. If you follow the rules, you survive. But hypothermia never comes alone. The cold freezes your decisions too. Zero protocol. Stay ready, stay alive.